This is Investment Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Daily live streaming interactive. Featuring Mrs. Backup. Subscribe, hit the notification, smash the likes. Now, here's Backup Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Good morning and welcome back to Investment Perspectives, everybody. Okay, so the theme today is the big banks and CEOs met with the President of the United States about the continuing falling and collapsing markets. This is ugly, and it has been ugly for a couple weeks now. As you know, we've been following this rather closely, and the reason we're following the traditional markets, because we cover crypto primarily here, is because we believe we're really fastly approaching a convergence of the traditional and the digital asset market. So, okay, so first of all, I'm going to play a clip here from CNBC. It's about 3 minutes. You need to hear it because we're going to have a conversation about some talking points about it. And then I want to remind everybody of some things that have taken place before this. So let me just play this clip really quickly, and then we will get down to business here. So here we go.
All right, well, bank stocks, as we mentioned, a part of that, despite the fact that the nation's top bankers and CEOs all met with President Trump at the White House today. And at the White House is where we find Wilfred Frost with more color on what they talked about today. Wilf.
Hey, Brian, it was a very rare gathering at the White House today with the leaders of all of the nation's biggest banks and private equity companies. An attendance list, therefore, that had a sort of 2008 financial crisis feel about it, though the comments that came from the bank CEOs was decidedly different from 2008 in tone. Let's take a listen.
We're very strongly capitalized. We are in great position in terms of liquidity, capital, and strength.
This is not a financial crisis. The banks and the financial system are in sound shape, and we are here to help.
Most of what I say would echo what's been said. The banking system is in good shape. The virus obviously poses a unique challenge, both for policymakers and for businesses, large and small, operating across the country. All businesses are very, very focused on their people, taking care of their people. As part of the banking system, we're looking to help businesses, large, small, individuals, any way we can.
Those Goldman Sachs, David Solomon at the end there. We even got some specific lending numbers from JP Morgan COO and President Gordon Smith, saying that in just the last 40 days, they'd extended $26 billion in loans to small businesses. He also gave me a quote about his CEO, Jamie Dimon, who, of course, is recovering from heart surgery. He says he's recovering well. We expect him to be out of hospital soon, and he really appreciates all of the warm wishes he has received. But back to that meeting, Brian, and even if the tone there from the bank CEOs was fairly encouraging, that is what we would have expected coming into this meeting, and there was no specific policy announcement to stem the slide in markets or in the bank stocks specifically. Perhaps that comes tonight from the Oval Office at 9 p.m., but it wasn't enough to stop the banks closing down 5 or 6% today. The banks index down some 38% since the January high.
All right, Wilfred Frost at the White House. Wilfred, thank you very much. Dan, Citigroup fell 8.5% today.
Yeah, listen, I think that you can be cynical and you can look at that meeting and say, what the heck is going on? Or you can say to yourself that, yes, the banks are in a much better place than they were 12 years ago in the throes of the financial crisis. And you can also say that whatever comes, whatever the president announces tonight, and whatever Mnuchin, whatever the Treasury kind of puts in place to kind of, from a fiscal standpoint, to help small businesses, to help businesses that are being constrained right now, it's going to be a private-public partnership that gets it done. That's going to be the thing that I think instills some confidence in investors. And once we get some plans on that, that's when maybe we stop seeing this extreme volatility in not just the stock market, but in credit markets, that sort of thing. And going back to what you guys were saying, on the 10-year, it is encouraging that it did find a floor. Not too much above zero, but it found a floor. And I think everybody would be pretty happy if that thing just kind of stabilized around 1%, especially as we head into the Fed meeting. So again, my view is like, bring all the CEOs in there, have them be confident, make commitments about what they can do to help out right now, and let's try to stem this tide before it becomes a financial crisis.
Yeah, trying to listen.
Now, there we go. So there's the gist of it right there. Stabilizing around 1% because they're saying that it's found a floor just above zero. The other thing here is that big banks have clearly said in this clip that there's no problem with the banks, right? The bank index is down 38%. Citibank fell 8% in a quick drop. They have no choice in this situation. I want you to now imagine this briefing, this meeting, and this presser that happened here, right? And imagine if the bank sitting at that table with the president had said, I got to be honest with you, things ain't looking good. We're having trouble finding liquidity. We're finding that a lot of the people that we've lent to are finding themselves in a huge shortfall, and their business plan is scaling down instead of up. The markets would be down 5,000 or 8,000 points if they said that. So I get the fact that they're being less than forthright here, and I almost feel like I understand what the intention and purpose is. It would really, really be a very bad thing if they were to come out here and be completely truthful about the notion that the reality is that the banking sector is in such dire straits that since last year, Cryptopolis and myself have been reporting on the shortfall in the repo market, and now that is expanded because the Fed has had to inject capital overnight into that market to allow it to function. The repo market is where the banks go to borrow money overnight to balance their books by next business day. The reason that's happening is because they're having a shortfall from their lenders, the people they've lent to, their clients and customers. When there's a shortfall, they go to the repo market, they borrow money from another bank that has excess cash, they get their books right, they lend the money, take it and borrow it back and pay it back within 1 to 2 days. That has gotten so bad since we've reported on it since last year that now they've extended the terms and the amount that they are injecting into the repo market for lending. Now the term is 10 to 14 days to lend it back. And banks aren't lending to each other. The Fed has had to step in and has been going from tens of billions of dollars to now $170 billion a night. Billion with a B. 170 billion they're injecting in overnight now. But there's no problem with the banks. There's nothing to see here. We got liquidity. We got capitalization, right? They're being less than forthright. And like I said, I understand that they can't come out and tell us just how dire it is because guess what? For the last couple weeks now, the market has been collapsing. Guess what? Yesterday, the market closed at 1,400 plus points down on the Dow. Guess what? The futures market is so down that it hit the 5% negative 5% fall this morning before open, and that's going to trade and halt before the market even opens. You got to be kidding me. Now, this is obviously being felt all across the board because crypto is down this morning too. But right now, I want to focus on the fact of what the situation is with the traditional markets. Because the truth is just like we've been saying here on this channel, Jim Rickards made a post yesterday on Twitter that backed up the same exact point that we've been making. Liquidity is a global crisis. Liquidity is a problem that is around the globe. It is not specific to just the U.S. or Europe or England or any other country. Liquidity is a global issue, and it is a crisis that is being felt now that is showing up inside of the Dow, right? That crevice that has continued to widen in the repo market, obviously from people having banks having shortfalls, from people defaulting on loans, or at least being late. And now you see this showing up because now corporations and institutions are doing huge sell-offs or are at the very least, are not placing buy orders, and you're getting these huge pocket drops that are happening inside of the market now. Obviously, there's a current health event around the world here that is impacting these things as well. It's going to have an enormous impact, and already has started having an enormous impact on trade, right? Which is why everybody's so up in arms over toilet paper, right? They're hoping they can go buy up enough toilet paper before the break happened, before the current event happened, and they could buy something that hasn't been tainted or possibly infected, let's say, or carrying the current event on it. Another thing I want to remind people about is what Christine Lagarde used to talk about occasionally when she was the IMF managing director. Bail-ins. Does everybody remember the international plan they put together for all banks should they have to do a bail-in? What is a bail-in? A bail-in is an institution of negative interest rates. And by the way, no, it does not mean that they're going to pay you. What it does mean is that once they get everyone switched over to a digital dollar and a digital system, if you have $100 in your bank account and they institute negative interest rates, and let's say for an example they do a 3% negative interest rate, you now wake up the next day with $97 in your account. Now, full disclosure, if they were to do a stimulus package, they could also deposit that money instantly into your account. I also want to remind everybody here domestically in the United States that the current president has been pounding the ground well before the current health event has happened, that he demand the Fed to give him 0 or negative interest rates. I have to say that this really truly is, to me, the recession coming home to roost. Cryptopolis and myself have been saying that the recession is here in the repo market, in the banking sector already, now showing up in the traditional markets. It won't be very long before I believe it will be felt on our doorstep. Knowing what XRP is designed to do, to be a global supplement to trade, to serve as a cross-border payment solution, I can't help but feel like this is the fertile ground for such an asset to rise up. I wish I had better news. I wish I had more exciting things to talk about that were absolutely positive. But if you really do understand what you hold, and I believe that I do, then you know that the success of XRP is bittersweet because it will come at the loss of many, many others around the world. All right, guys, hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. And don't forget the new show time is Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern. I will see you today at 12 p.m. Eastern. Another reminder, I have some great interviews I will be releasing on this channel that I've done over the past week. And we will be having very soon Clinton Donnelly, the one and only crypto tax fixer, will be on this show very soon. Just spoke with him this morning. It is going to be amazing to have him on the channel. The IRS has been taking a lot of public comment and private invite conferences about handling crypto as they move forward. It's going to get interesting, and he's had some reaction on Twitter as well. So this is going to be really good stuff. All right, guys, that's it from me. I'll see you at 12 p.m. Eastern on the show. And don't forget, tomorrow, Friday, Cryptopolis, co-host of the show, Friday Week in Review. We are going to have a lot to talk about. And I tell you, I think the conversation is not only going to be about the traditional markets and the convergence of digital assets, but I think we're going to have to talk about oil also and some other very special things. All right, guys, hit the like and subscribe. I will see you on the next one.